Democratic senators today making their case against Todd Blanche serving as Attorney General before the Judiciary Committee takes up his nomination in less than 2 weeks. Just one Republican no vote in the committee could sink the confirmation of President Trump's former personal attorney.
The Attorney General, no matter how close he or she is to the president, has to be the people's lawyer. He has to have his loyalty first and foremost to the Constitution. Blanche does not have that. My colleagues know that, and we've got a responsibility, but we have to have some Republican colleagues to join us in saying no to Blanche.
Joining me now, Mimi Rocah, former Assistant U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of New York, where she worked closely with Todd Blanche. In an opinion piece she co-wrote for MS Now, she says the Senate Judiciary Committee should reject Blanche's nomination to be Attorney General. Mimi, welcome back to the show. Last weekend, you told us you once considered Todd Blanche a good friend and regarded him highly in the SDNY, but you have written that he has turned his back on the principles that you upheld as federal prosecutors. Did his testimony this week further your belief he is unqualified to hold that office?
Hi, Alex. Yeah, great to be with you. Yes, unfortunately, it absolutely reinforced my view that at this point in time, Todd Blanche no longer really believes in the institution of the Department of Justice as an independent institution. He said it better than I could, frankly, when he inadvertently, I guess, slipped and said, you know, when asked about his relationship with Donald Trump by a friendly senator, he said, I'm his lawyer, was his lawyer. He corrected himself very quickly. And unfortunately, the real version of the reality right now is that he is acting like Donald Trump's lawyer. Excuse me.
Yeah. No problem. So you're saying that basically it was like a Freudian slip. It was like, I'm his lawyer. Whoops. And let's clear that up. But let's hear how Blanche responded to questions about the DOJ's independence from the White House. Here's that.
Are you and President Trump friends?
I'm his lawyer, was his lawyer, and now I'm the Deputy Attorney General.
Is the Department of Justice that you are running independent from the White House?
The Department of Justice, like every single department in the executive, is part of the executive. I mean, Article 2 of the Constitution gives the power of the executive to President Trump.
Do you believe it is the president's right and duty to order the investigation or prosecution of his perceived enemies? Yes or no?
I can't answer that yes or no.
I mean, is that satisfactory for you?
No, I mean, so I think at this point, he's very good at saying words that sound reasonable. Sorry. But the substance, the meaning of those words are very dangerous. Yes, he is correct, obviously, that the president oversees the Justice Department's part of the executive branch. But that doesn't mean that the president should have the power to order prosecutions of enemies and protect friends regardless of the evidence. That's the big part he's leaving out. I mean, even former Attorney General Ashcroft, when he testified the next day, he said the same thing. He said enemies shouldn't get a pass if they commit crimes just because they're enemies of the president. I would agree with that wholly. The problem here is the evidence part. They are going after people regardless of the evidence. There are many other examples, but that is the greatest sin here that is being committed in terms of what a prosecutor can do with his power, is to pursue people for crimes no matter the evidence. And we've seen that time and time again, for example, with the senators who simply stated something that was correct in a video. They've tried to prosecute them for sedition. For Jim Comey, who took a maybe silly picture of something with seashells, they're prosecuting him for a threat. That is where this whole theory of the executive power that Blanche is talking about falls apart, because you cannot ignore what the reality, what the actual evidence is or is not.
Let's hope that the senators considering this confirmation will take all of this into consideration. Mimi Rocah, thank you as always. Thanks.